We've gotten 5 chapters by now, and at the beginning of each comes a Season 1. Today we'll be talking about why I strongly think that every Season 1 has been good, and the ones to come will follow in that path. Before we answer what makes them so good, we need to talk about what Season 1s actually do for us. In my opinion, they're like a foundation to a chapter. They show us what this new chapter is all about, and sadly, I believe that recently, Fortnite hasn't been sticking with the theme of the chapter. They disregard everything that Season 1 established. Personally, I think that this has only started recently, actually. Possibly even just this chapter. We went from a normal map, normal loot pool, normal bosses, to a bunch of random Greek mythology stuff, then went into an apocalyptic wasteland. Like, what? Alright, sorry about that, getting a bit sidetracked, but I will discuss more of that in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, let's get back to the main question. What actually makes Fortnite Season 1s so good? Well, to start off, I think it helps that it's a whole new map, usually new loot pools, and just a whole bunch of new content. After being stuck in a chapter for a year, Fortnite players are really excited to do something new. Also, as I said before, this might just be me by the way, I love having a normal map and just like more realistic kind of gameplay. Obviously, you could bring up the Shockwave Hammer, the Grapple Blade, or Spider-Man Mythic, but honestly, that is more realistic than what's in the next seasons of the chapter. And honestly, I think that every single Season 1 in the game is probably more realistic than the season that came after that, and all the seasons that came after that in the chapter. And yeah, I feel like when it's Season 1, it feels more like original Fortnite to me, and that's because of it being more realistic. Don't get me wrong, some of the very non-realistic theme seasons I've really enjoyed, but really, I just feel myself playing a lot more when it is realistic. Another reason I haven't talked about yet is that it is just so much more fun to explore and discover new things when it's Season 1. Because you literally know nothing about any of the new content, and that keeps people playing for a long time in that season. But when, let's say, it's Season 2, you'll get burnt out much faster because of the amount of things that were added or changed are nowhere near the size of the changes for Season 1. And on top of that, in a normal game, you'll probably have to visit the locations and pick up the items you got burnt out from in Season 1. So it's much easier to get burnt out in the other seasons than it is in Season 1. So to conclude this section, let's answer the question, what really makes them so good? I think the answer is complex, but to sum it up, it really is just because people are so captivated by the game. Everything's new, and that is what makes it so cool. It's just pure fun exploring the map and testing all the new mechanics and weapons. There's so much mystery and pure wonder about it, and that is why Season 1s are so good. So along with every single Fortnite season comes controversy, even in every Season 1. So the first controversy that I'd like to talk about is Chapter 5 Season 1. Probably the most realistic season. And the most controversial thing in that season is probably the graphics. Many players even said that it looked like it was pulled straight out of Call of Duty. And I'd like to say, when I say I want realism in Fortnite seasons, I do not mean with the graphics. Without the goofiness of the Fortnite graphics, it's just not Fortnite. And don't get me wrong, I loved Chapter 5 Season 1. Probably in my top 5 favorite seasons. But with the graphics looking like that, it just did not look as much like Fortnite. And to be honest, I'm not a person that likes to care about how things like look in games as much. I just like the gameplay. But I mean, the graphics did make a lot of things look really like beautiful and cool, but I just think overall that it might have been too much. Now, the next controversy is a big reason that a lot of people don't agree that all Season 1s are good. And that is the length of Chapter 2 Season 1. Chapter 2 Season 1 started on October 15th, 2019 and ended on February 19th, 2020. That is 128 days of the same season, more than 4 months. Honestly, I don't blame Epic for doing this because this was their first time doing a new chapter. But so many people lost interest in the middle of the season, and people just overall weren't interested by the end of the season. And nowadays, the season is called by many one of the worst seasons ever. But when you really think about it, nothing was actually bad in the season. A solid loot pool, a good map, but the one thing it was missing was something special. There was literally nothing special. At least in Chapter 5, we had cool mythics and medallions and the grapple blade. And adding nothing special and the huge time frame of Season 1, it ended up not very liked at all. But yeah, I don't think that there was anything actually bad about it. It was solely just those elements added together that made it not very liked. So, do you agree that every Fortnite Season 1 has been good? Tell me down in the comment sections below. While you're down there, if you enjoyed this video, it would help me a ton if you left a like on the video and maybe even subscribed. Before this video ends, I need to say that my opinion about Chapter 5 and just Fortnite in general has changed the past few weeks. At the beginning of Wrecked, I thought it was the best season ever, not gonna lie. But going through Wrecked showed me that a lot of my opinions about Fortnite were wrong. But I hope you enjoyed, have an amazing day, and remember to always stay super.